New here at 6, employees at Amazon's warehouse in St. Peters are accusing the company of preventing them from unionizing.
Workers have now filed an unfair labor practice charge against the company. And tonight, First Alert 4's Kimberly Donahue is finding out what this charge could mean for the workers.
Warehouse workers at Amazon's facility in St. Peters are taking on their employer. They claim the e-commerce giant uses surveillance, preventing employees from gathering to improve working conditions. A charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board claims within the last 6 months, Amazon, quote, maintained intrusive algorithms and other workplace controls and surveillance which interfere with Section 7 rights of the National Labor Relations Act, allowing employees to engage in protected concerted activity.
The theory of the charge is that if the employer is surveilling me or watching me, many people would feel like I can't do this kind of organizing because the boss may get mad at me if I do that.
Michael Duff is a St. Louis University School of Law professor. He specializes in labor law. He says now that the charge is filed, an investigation starts with the National Labor Relations Board. That could last for weeks.
They'll want to hear witnesses who will explain what's been happening in the workplace. And so there's a process where all of the charging parties, in other words, the workers, witnesses are heard. And once they are heard, the National Labor Relations Board will then turn to the employer to get its side of the story, and then the board makes a preliminary administrative determination.
According to the NLRB, based on that determination, if they find a law was violated, they try to help the parties settle or issue a complaint. In a statement, an Amazon spokesperson says, to be clear, there's no finding of unlawful activity by the NLRB. The fact is this charge, which was just filed, has yet to be investigated or proven.
I think that this is only one small battle in a very large war over the working conditions pertaining to warehouse workers in the United States.
Kimberly Donahue, First Alert 4.
And according to the NLRB, an investigation into what's going on at Amazon could take up to 14 weeks.